Okay, so let's begin. My name is Martin. I work for Pantone. So thank you, man, for inviting me to share what is Pantone or basis of color. So before I start, I do like to run a little poll here. Anyone have heard of the company or the name Pantone? Just say yes if you do. No. Okay, good.
Yeah,
Alan Chen, thank you, Alan.
Yeah.
Shoot, someone say no. Oh, gee. Okay, it's alright. It's alright. Thank you for the honest answer. Okay, so Natalia answered no, so I guess it's good that you're here. So you can know what is Pantone. Kalalopo, okay. That's the name. Okay, so what is Pantone? Some of you have heard of, some of you have not heard of it. So I personally had not heard of it, before I joined the Pantone company. I always encountered this name until I had a job interview and Pantone interviewed me. And I'm actually surprised. Pantone is a company. So instead of saying what is Pantone, I would rather say who is Pantone. Most of the market or the industry consider us as a color factory. And man, feel free to stop me anytime if you have any questions.
Or I will ask you the questions.
If I'm running too fast or too slow. So we'll go over it very quickly. It started in 1963, and back then there's someone called Lawrence Herman, and he is a chemical engineering fresh graduate. He was a fresh graduate. He was probably your age. He went to a printing company, and he actually find out that when every time the customer asks him to print something, and they print out, and the customer will say like, this is not the color I need. So there's always this kind of argument. So then he invented Pantone. I will go over a little bit more history afterwards. So we are a color company. We focus in making color. It doesn't make sense. I repeat, it does not make sense how we can make color. We had a lot of products associated with color in the color industry. We're probably the only player in the color industry. We had some color standard in graphics. We had color standard for fashion industry. We had plastic that is supportive to both graphics and fashion. And at the end, we had some color equipments or something digital that can help you. When you design that is something related to color, we had something. We also have some supporting products like lightings, like hue test. Are you seeing the color correctly? Is yourself good enough to judge if that color is correct? That's for the hue test. And then we also got apps, or we also had tools to make sure that the monitor that you're seeing, in the top right corner, printer and monitor calibrations, the color that you're seeing on your screen is correct. It's the same as your partner is seeing. Even though you're designing the same product, make sure that you're seeing the same color.
And I know that we will have the Pantone Connect at the end, right?
Yes, I will save the apps, the middle one, Pantone Connect apps, to the end, and I will introduce all the others like step by step. But Pantone Connect apps, yes, man, that will be at the end. Okay, first thing first, color communication. Why is color communication important?
I think that it is a tool to communicate with a factory if I am a designer. It's right?
Yes, so let's give an example. You're wearing blue today.
Yeah.
So am I.
Yeah. And what is the difference? And then how to talk to the factory?
Exactly, because you can see there's an obviously difference blue. Obvious enough, but close enough at the same time, so That's how Pantone stands. It's one of the key criteria or key business for Pantone is for color communication. For example, you have the design background, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So fashion, right?
Yes.
Right. So, in fashion designers, look at the screen here. This designer always like to describe the color very conceptual, very subjective. Means like, I like the pale pink, not too red, a hint of blue, a bit flirty but sophisticated. What does that mean? And if I'm a lab guy and they say, okay, got it. So you want pale pink, not too red, hint of blue, flirty, got it. And I make She's thinking of that color.
Yeah, let me see.
That's the difference between miscommunications. You know, that's the definition of miscommunications. That's very good, Sydney. And we will go into that color miscommunication. Actually, very good, close. So, the designer think of this, the lab think of the other, and it's both pale pink, not too red, a hint of blue, a bit flirty, but sophisticated at the same time. Huge color miscommunications, as Sydney said. The big difference, someone received the message from the lab while someone sent the message. Now, let's play a little game. Everybody wide and awake? So, how do you communicate this little color?
Yeah, you can type this color name in the chat room. Yeah, and then you can describe this color to us. Yeah, you think that it's a pink, or in other words you can use.
You can say pink. You can say flirty romance. If that's, if I would like to use flirty romance.
Fuchsia.
Fuchsia. Okay, pink.
Sweet color.
Okay, I like this name. Sweet, rosy pink. Wait a minute. Let me check the number of Pantone.
A shocking pink.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it means there's so many words to describe this pink.
Lollipop.
Right?
Cool. Strong, bright, high value. Close. We're going to that soon. Yes, pinky. Okay.
Girlish pink. Yeah, it means there's so many names for this color, right?
Okay. All
and
good?
we have another questions for you. Wait.
Now, please pay great attention. Remember this color. I'll give you.
Remember, how many seconds?
10.
10. Yeah.
10.
Remember this color.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yes.
Okay. Here we go, Houston. What color is it? It's all pink with certain degree of purple. Quite a few of them is girlish pink, all pinky. Quite some sweet.
Yeah. Which one? A, B, G, C.
W, C, 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 D, C. Okay, a lot of C, a lot of D, E. Okay, C, so far C is winning G. Okay, that's nice. Okay, come on guys, T is definitely not it, man.
A lot of people choose C.
Okay.
Yeah, but what is the correct answer?
Someone WCT. What is that? Go on. It's okay. We'll review the second, in just like we'll give you a few more seconds. Okay. So seems C1, but then there's a lot of K, a lot of G, a lot of T. I see WTC. It's alright. The now H2. The correct. Let's see. 買定離手，然後其實 candidates.
Yeah.
So
you got it. Yeah.
I don't get it. Actually, I think D on my first view. Most people got it. C, correct. But still a lot more people didn't get it. So if you pick C, good for you. But what if your color pick H? What if your color pick W? There's a huge color miscommunication at once. You see C, great for you, but your color CW, and you both are working on the same project, so you end up having different colors. Imagine man is making having this shirt, and then the collar is different from the sleeves.
Yeah.
Who's going to pay for that? That's money directly. You guys are still students, it's fine, but once you're working, that's money. Bro, boldly speaking, it's on your ass. You got fired. You need to pay. You need to leave. You need to get fired. Simple as that. Just for simple color miscommunication. UCC, your partner CW. You didn't make it clear enough. So, sorry, it's not that funny. Again, serious this time. Now, how would you describe this color? Please, be professional this time. If you are at work, how would you describe this color?
Yeah.
You're a student today. In a few years, you'll be working just like everyone. Dark red, wine red, hot brown. Okay, cool. Earth red. Reddish brown.
Oh, it's okay. Autumn is also the right great answer.
Burgundy, actually.
Yeah, burgundy. Yeah.
Rust. Dark red or we'll go into that, like dark red in Windows OS scheme, because you're talking about RGB and it's not
chocolate.
Yeah, chocolate. I won't eat this chocolate if I were you. It's too black. Chocolate brown. Okay, so pause. How would you describe?
This one is quite similar, right?
But different enough. Yes. How would you describe this? Brownish chocolate now? Dark orange. Maple color. I can see that Dion. I think if you guys look at the chat room or look at your own answer, you can see that yes, you can describe it, but still very
English tea.
Is that really English tea? I
don't know.
It's more like pui to me.
And how about we can have another way to describe the color?
Exactly. You guys are describing color still in a conceptual way, like pink, a pale pink, a hint of blue, flirty but sophisticated. We are still at that stage right now. Every one of us. But as men say, what if we had a different communication method? How about we name the first color C3 and the next color B4? It's accurate. I want C3, and then you told your partners, you're looking at B4. Now can we agree on one color? Can you give me C3? Can you dye the fabric into C3? Can you print my poster into C3, not B4? And then men will understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I want C3, man give me B4, now go work on it again. Okay, I'll just work on it again. I won't get fired. Simple. I have nothing to pay for it. So this is actually how Pantone works. Pantone gave color an identity. Pantone convert color into a language. And each Pantone book is a dictionary. What does C3 means? What does B4 means? If you had this color chart as on the screen, then you will know. C3 means chocolate. B4 means English tea. C3 means burgundy, while B4 means, I don't know, light dark red.
Yeah. It means that we can make the name for the B4 as you like.
It's more like a color code instead of a color name. Because we find that color name is really conceptual, it's still subjective. Eventually, you'll start to pale blue, pale pink, flirty, sophisticated thing. So let's stick to number. B4, C3, easy. Of course, Pantone had a lot more colors, so our number color coding system will not be so simple. But still, it's similar. Just to give you an idea, we give color a code. Each code represents different colors. So far, any questions? Okay, I'll move on. And feel free to type your questions here. Is that okay, man?
Yeah. And because we will review the question at the end. Yeah, and we will answer you one by one. So don't worry. Yeah.
If man think there's any relevant questions that we should answer right now, she'll tell me.
Yeah.
No worries. Okay, so back to the questions. If someone in Italy like that, I want this color, 1837. He had a color guide on his hand. That's Pantone color guide, and then he said 1937. His partner in America also had a guide. I say, got it. They know what this 1837C means. It means this blue, kind of look like Tiffany blue, greenish blue, sophisticated, maybe a feel of elegance. So Pantone guides at this stage means dictionary. Why Pantone is important? Because Pantone make color into a language. That's the communication. When color communications, Pantone make it into a language. And the Pantone guide serves as a dictionary. You had one guide, man had one guide, you guys can communicate color very accurately. 1837. You don't need to go through all those like greenish blue with a hint of elegance, not too 30, something like that. Good? Got an idea? It took me 2 years to understand what Pantone does. I don't know why they still pay me. Don't quote me on that. Okay, so now we move on to color communications.
Yeah.
We had several color systems because different industry will have different color making technology, let's put it this way. There are different ways to make color, so that's why we need to have different color system for them to do accurate color communications. So the most common is two systems. One is Pantone matching system. People refer them to graphics, which is mostly used on papers or graphic designers. The other is fashion, home and interior, which is used for fashion designers. One is for graphics, printing. Had 3 to 4 digit suffixes used U or C. We go over the detail. There's no color name, over 2,000 colors. The other is for fashion, dyed on fabric. It's 6 digit TCX, TPG, over almost 3,000 colors. Let's put it very simple. One is for graphics, print on papers. One is fashion, home and interior, dyed on fabrics.
And then how about the product designer? What kind of the system they use?
Very good. We had supporting because if your product, you don't print and you don't dye fabric. So what you do is like we had this, you can use the same color code, but if you want to see what color is it, we have the plastic. You want to show it a little?
Yeah, this one, you can see it.
So, yes.
Yeah.
I'll just drink water. We'll go over quickly. So, same color code on both graphic and fashion. You can convert it into plastic so that the product designer can use it. Okay, first thing first. Pantone matching system. Graphics. If you have any questions, ask Matt afterwards. Like, you know Pantone, all of them.
Yeah, this one. Yeah.
So, first, the most commonly used one is formula guide and specifier. So, the formula guide is like a fan shape. Open like a fan. Yeah, that's beautiful. So, somebody call it a fan deck because it's shaped like a fan. And each of the guide, if you zoom closer, then you can see that you got the color. Each of the color had a color code. It's okay, it's okay. Yeah, the color code, as what we said, is a B4, C3 thing. The same thing here, same ideas here. For you to achieve color communications. So each color, we assign them with color code. And each color code, we assign with a formula. How do you make the color? There's a Pantone formula. At the end, remember the Lawrence Herbert story I talked to you about earlier? Because he worked in this printing company, and there's always this like color miscommunication. Yeah, it's okay. Here.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, so all this color miscommunication. So he realized that the printing industry usually use CMYK. So you give me a color, I just use CMYK to convert it to achieve the best we can. And the color spacing, let's say the color achievability of CMYK system is quite limited. So you give me a color, I cannot make it. And same that the same color with a different CMYK system. That means CMYK is not an accurate color system.
In the formula guide, we see that it have a solid coded and a solid uncoded. What is the difference between these ones?
Okay, before I go into that, that's a very good question. Before I go into that, I want to show that CMYK fundamentally has four base color. Well, Pantone has 37, so the color accuracy is a lot higher. Second, that's referred to Man's questions. You also need to specify the color of the paper. C for coded, U for uncoded. So back in the good old days, you always use color on what? Newspaper, magazine. That's the most commonly paper format you use. But the making will be very different because newspaper is uncoded, while magazine is coded. So that's the C and U means. And
Yeah.
when you print on poster, banner,
This one.
yes, mostly a magazine, that's C.
You see, the paper is so glossy, right? And this one is uncoated. Yeah, it's a
Matte look.
matte look.
So magazine, newspaper. I know not a lot of people using magazine as newspaper anymore. So then C and C becoming more and more popular. Okay, so continue. So we had this formula guide, and if you want to look for the color, wall paint and aluminum panel. Good. Next. Second color system.
Yeah, we will introduce another for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not this, okay.
Not this one. Don't use this formula guide for the wall painting or the aluminium panel.
Yes.
Yeah, it's for the graphic design. Yeah.
It's for printing on paper, not
Yeah,
painting. Printing, not painting.
Yeah.
Okay, continue. So where were we? Right, so this formula guide, if you had received a color code from a partner, you want to know where is it from the formula guide? How would it do it? I know it's a pop quiz for you.
It's mean.
If you receive a color code, your
Yeah.
partners, I give you a color code, I want like 1837C, so where can I see it?
I will ask you, you choose the coded or uncoded first?
1837C, that's coded.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's
Good.
C.
Yes.
Yeah, and then you can go to the back for your fan, and then you can search the number, and then which page you can get it. Yeah.
Very good. It's a very suddenly, we didn't talk about it before. So yes, man, you passed. Very good.
Yeah.
So there are two ways to use from the guide. One is if you're the designer, you're the one to pick color. Easy. You open it as the fan.
At the end.
No, designer when you pick the color.
Yeah.
So you just open it and you just hand pick the color. You like this color, you pick it, and then you get a color code, and then you give it to. Actually, very correct. Our founders is actually from chemical engineering. So yes, it's a very scientific company. It is not artistic at all. Everybody sees it as an artistic company. No, we are not artistic. We are very scientific. Good comment, Jasmine. Right, back to the question. So you open the fan. You want to pick a color for exactly. You like the color. Remember the color code. Drop it down. You use the color code when you communicate to your partners, to your manufacturers. But if you're the manufacturer, or you had a design head, the design head give you a number, 1836, 123C, where do you find it? First, as man said, C means coded. Go for the formula guide coded. Go for the in the end, that's the menu or index. Look it up. Look for 1837 and then search there's page number, row number. Then you can know which color it's looking for. Okay?
Yeah.
So we got two formats, the Fandex format or the books format. Books format is if your partners I don't have a formula guide, Pantone is so expensive. So you take one chip out, you see on the right side, open the books, you can set some chips, we open the books, find the color, open the give them one chips, that's the color code, that's the color, go make me the color. Good? Any questions?
Okay.
So we continued with color bridge and CMYK. For the color bridge, we make it because remember I said Pantone color system, we use 37 base color. So the color accuracy is just super high. Not CMYK for base color. But in Asia, where we are located, most printing companies still use CMYK. People came to, most of the designers or US brand, European brand, they came to Asia to save costs. And Asia to save costs, they use CMYK. So we use Pantone color with 37 base color, that's what they're using. But then Asia, we use CMYK guide. The color spacing is different. What they quote cannot be achieved. Okay, I should say. What they quote, this is Pantone color, cannot be achieved. Pantone is here, 37 base color. CMYK is here, 4 base color. What can you do? How can you do it? You can't. So that's why we have this color bridge. look at the bottom pictures. On the left side is the Pantone color, the designer picks in US, in Europe. On the right side is the color that they can get, the color that Asia printer or CMYK printing can achieve. If they pick a color from Pantone from the guide, but then they want to print it on CMYK, sorry, they need to know the facts. What they pick is on the left. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, I can show you.
Yes.
Yeah, this one. Yeah, you can see it. If you get this one, it's from the Pantone. Yeah, and then the right is a CMYK. It means that you just can print it in this color, not the Pantone color. Yes.
So for Pantone from the guide, 90% of designers already have it. That's how they pick the color. But if they want to print on CMYK, they need to know what they get. They're not going to get the same color. Either they hire a very professional printing, which still exists in US and Europe, and quite some in Asia too, including Japan, like more than 16 base color or 37 base color. But if they insist on CMYK for CMYK printing for cost saving, only 4 base color, sorry, you didn't know. This is what you can get.
But for the web designer, what can they do? Yeah, for the
web designer, you design the. No, I think what they're saying is you design a web page.
RGB.
Right? RGB.
RGB, you can see it in the formula guide or in the color page. You can see they have the RGB here. You can see this.
Yes. So for the color bridge, you can see that some you have CMYK, and then on the formula guide side, the right side, you can also see RGB value.
Yeah.
That's how you can design.
And also HTML number. Yeah, in the color bridge. Yeah.
For your information, Man and I have been working together for 8 years on this kind of presentation. She probably know better than I do. Okay, so any more questions for the color bridge? Before we move on to CMYK, I want to make sure that on the left side is what you can pick from the guide, what you see from the guide, the color code, the color, the reference RGB value, HTML value. On the right side is a CMYK version. There is a color difference. There's no color miscommunication. There's no color miscommunication. I'm correct. Even if there's no color miscommunication, there will still be color difference. Okay, now we move on.
Yeah.
CMYK. Yes.
Yeah, this one.
Allow me to repeat again and again and again. There's no difference. There's no relations between CMYK guide and color bridge. I repeat, there's no relations between CMYK guide and color bridge. It is totally independent. The reason, how much more expensive? You mean the cost or the purchase price for Pantone guides? You mean like either for Pantone print or CMYK print? Is that what you're asking? The cost of printing or the cost of the Pantone guides? Okay, when you answer, we'll go on. So we invent this CMYK guide because, especially in Asia, like it's so popular in CMYK printing. Everybody's used CMYK. So we did extensive marketing research to make sure that what are the most popular color the designer use nowadays in CMYK. And then we make that into CMYK guides. And for Asian designers or designers in Asia, that they're gonna go for CMYK printing anyway. Why do I want to pick a formula guide and colors from formula guide and then buy another color bridge to know how it will look like, and eventually I'll just get what I like, CMYK. Why don't I just pick from CMYK guide directly? Like 90% of the designers are using the colors on the CMYK guides. I'm not that creative, isn't it? So why don't I just use the CMYK guides? Pick the color directly. These are the most trendiest color in CMYK printing anyway. Pantone had already done the research for me. Why don't I use it? and I know what I will get. And there's also a 𝐶𝐑 value associated with each color code. Why not? Yes, very correct.
Yeah.
So that is why 90% of designers still insist in formula guide. Very correct. Because, come on, even if I am using 𝐶𝐑 print, she's using 𝐶𝐑 print, we are using different brands of printers. The printing machine is different, the brand is different, the setting is different, the model is different, the ink is different, even the printing machine, the age is different. My printer is probably 10 years old. I'm using obsolete or already outdated ink, expired ink. She's probably using the latest model, latest brand, most expensive. Yes, even with this closest 𝐶𝐑, it will be different.
Yeah, so now the printer, they need to pass the test. Is also some color management. It's called the G7s. They need to pass to test their printer, and then it means that when you have the print, and then the color is more accurate. Yeah.
Yes, there are two ways to calibrate it, and one is the G7, and one what actually it's called like printer calibrations. Like is your printer really accurate? But even though it is okay, there's no 100% accuracy. Yeah. Let's put it this way: if you got 99% correct, you're very good. So that's why we also had this delta E, tolerance level.
Yeah.
Like you need to agree, like Man and I were partnering a project. She prints something for me. I need to agree, like what's the delta E? That's a color difference value. You're actually asking very deep questions here.
Yeah.
So within that delta, so this is a color I pick, but no one can make this 100% accurate color. It's always around this color. Like it's the same old philosophy. Like who had ever seen a perfect circle?
Yeah.
You can never see a perfect straight line. That you can never see a perfect circle. You just can't print it out. You just can't make it. So same as color. You just can't make a perfect color. So as long as you get around it within delta E figures, if you're following me, then you're okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, next.
We'll refer you to the lamp hole here. Like cost of printings, it depends on how much they charge you.
Yeah.
You don't print it. They print it for you. So ask a quotation from them.
Yeah.
All depends on how much they want to rip you off. Don't quote it. Okay, metallic. We also had something more supporting, like for metallic, not the main color, but metallic color or pastel and neon color. Okay. Some people say like, I want to print metallic. Yes, we have metallics. I want to print pastel and neon. Yes, we also have that. The mechanism is the same. Like, they also had the color. They also had the color code. They also had the formula associated with it. You can pick the color by looking at the color. Then you pick the color code and communicate with your partners. Or if you have a color code, you receive a color code from your partners, search it over the index, and then you know what color they want to achieve. Yeah. Okay? Good. Continuing.
Yeah, and then what Pantone guide is right for the graphic designer? What fonts you recommend they buy? Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Allow me to go back. If you're graphic designers, if you want to buy Pantone, ask yourself one question.
They just the students. Yeah.
Okay, ask yourself one question. Are you dealing with metallic or pastel? You're dealing mostly with metallic or pastel, buy this too.
Yeah, I think so.
If you're dealing with mostly, I'm going to print 𝐶𝐑 anyway. Okay.
Color bridge is better, you think that? Color bridge. And then they can get the Pantone color and then they can compare with the 𝐶𝐑.
Yes, but color bridge is also most expensive. And if you're students, if you can afford the color bridge, I do recommend it.
I found a guy called the Plus series.
Wow. It's like belongs to a museum, dude. Age of like must be like what, 5-10 years old already? Yes, that's like really long time ago. If you find a guy called the Plus series,
you need to buy another one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
next.
old. Okay. So yeah, ask yourself like if you're dealing with metallic or pastel, buy this too. If you're doing 𝐶𝐑 printing, buy the 𝐶𝐑 guide. If general, if you can afford it, buy color bridge.
Yeah.
Okay. But of course, generally, 90% of designers still use Pantone from the guide. So you don't know what to buy, you really don't know where to start somewhere, by formula guide. So you can see each guide has its own function. So please ask yourself. Okay? Any other questions? Good?
Good.
If you have any questions, just type it out, okay? Man will organize it. Continued. Home fashion, home interior. So if you're not printing, if you're like paint on walls, that's home and interior, because that's very likely you're referring to interior design, home and interior design industry, or your fashion design. How would you do? I'll go over it a little bit quicker for this one because I have most of them are like product design.
Yeah.
Okay, we had this color coding system. It's a basis of color science and it's more sophisticated color system, but not printing on papers. Sorry, if you're graphic designers, allow me to repeat again, use the graphic designs, graphic color system. If you're fashion, home, interior, use this one. But
this one.
Yes, but the coding system is actually quite interesting. So, you got this like, color LAB value, XYZ value. At the end of the day, it's just have brightness, saturation, or hue. What does that mean? Lightness means like, I want a darker blue. You give me a too light blue. Lighter, darker. We talk about lightness. Hue is like, your blue is a bit red. You give me a reddish blue. I want a greenish blue. It's like, right. They actually talk about hue. So they want blue, but they want a reddish blue or greenish blue. Not perfect blue, so that's the hue. Chroma, saturations. I want a bluer blue. I want a less blue. What does that mean? It sounds like it doesn't make sense, but they actually talk about saturations. Your blue is too saturated. I want to be less saturated. So they talk about the saturation degree. It all makes sense. So lightness, hue, saturation combined together. You have this LAB value or XYZ value, but that's other story. In Pantone, we had this 6-digit. The first 2 digits is lightness, second 2 digits is hue, and then last 2 digits is saturations. Or FHI, fashion, home, interior. I call it FHI, right? FHI color system had a 6-digit color system or coding system. And suffix is TPG, TCX, TSX. Remember in graphics is C and U, coded paper, uncoded paper, because that's for like paper. And here's TPG, P for painting on paper, green for like eco-friendly paper. And CX is dyed on fabric, cotton, C for cotton, S for synthetic, polyester. So that's what you're saying. That first lightness, second hue, last is chroma. So you see the digit more or less. You kind of know like how dark this color is. What's the saturations? Hue is a bit different. It's always difficult. Okay, we'll go very quickly. It's very simple. TPG. It's mostly for fashion designers or interior designers. They had this almost 3,000 colors now. They had each had a color code, and a color name. We had fan format, and we also had a books format for the chips. If your partners don't have it, take 1 chip, give it to them. Easy. Okay?
Yes.
Easy, right? But there's no formula, because if you want a formula, it's dyed fabric and different dye stuff with it. Very complicated, color making technology. Deal with it later. And we had a cotton format. The smallest one is like, I thought you had a cotton passport before, right?
Yeah.
No, cotton passport. It's this one.
No, I don't have.
You don't have it anymore.
Yeah,
Someone took it.
Yeah, and I think that's Pantone need to donate to Polyjuice.
Right.
Yeah, it's the TCX. It's a fabric, and then they dye on it, and then it means that if you are the painter or maybe the fashion designer, you can cut the small square and then pass to the factory, and then the factory will base on this strip, and then to dye the
fabric.
Yeah, the fabric, and then they will put together and then send back to you, and then you can use these standards to compare, and then which one is similar to your strip, and then you can pick one.
Yep.
Or maybe you can give them the comment and see that, oh, maybe A is close to the strip, and then say that, oh, maybe I need to add the red more 10% or 5%, and then send back to the factory, and then the factory will dye the fabric again, and then send back to you. Yeah, it's just
Actually,
like
man
this.
already said a lot of professional terms already. I want 10% darker, 2% lighter. Like, geez, I always hated when designer told me that. Just give me a Pantone color code, I'll make it. Done. Easy, okay? Don't give me like, I want this Pantone color, but then I want 10% darker. I want that Pantone color, but then I want like 20% redder. Like, geez, pick another color. There are 3,000 Pantone colors here. I'm sure you can pick it.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the TCX, it's just different format. Like, you can take it out or double layer or simple layer. It's really fine. You'll deal with it when you graduate. So yes, it's all the same colors. Okay. All books have the same 3,000 colors, same color code, number of colors the same, no difference. Last but not least, I want to repeat it. I'll go back. This is paint. Paint on walls. Back to the questions. If you paint on walls, use this TPG. Yes. If you dye on fabric,
TCX.
C for cotton.
Yes.
So if you paint on wall, this is interior designer. That's paint on wall. This is curtains, sofa. Good. Okay. One more. You say aluminium panel. Voila. We also have metallic paint.
It's new, right?
It's actually we launched it right before the COVID, so it's not new anymore. But over the past 3 years, it's like the whole world has stopped. So the market still sees it's new, but no, it's not. Anyway, it's kind of TPM. Okay. You read it. It's long. I will continue. TPM. So if you're like doing metallic panel coating, use TPM metallic. Okay. TPM paper metallic.
We will answer these questions in the Q&A sessions. Don't worry, we will answer you these questions later. Yeah.
Oh, it's actually good questions. Actually, we will cover that. Thank you, Jasmine. Good questions. Come later. All right. Any questions, Matt? Any questions on behalf of the students?
Used the wrong one for many years.
Ouch.
And now you know that which one is suitable for you, and then you can buy the new one.
Liu, Chelsea, if you don't mind, which industry are you two in? Which guides are you using? I'm interested. I'm curious more likely.
But we are so happy that they know that which one is suitable for them now, and use the right Pantone font for their work, right? Yeah.
Actually, that is why Polly, you invite us, to this little seminar here, because I totally agree. We find out in the industry a lot later, for class later. A lot of designers turns out have been using the wrong color codes all this time, and they should be professional and know they're using the wrong color because it's a wrong practice. So they keep saying that Pantone is not achievable, or even when you use Pantone, you still have this color miscomplication. Dude, you're using the wrong guide. Of course it's wrong. The color is wrong. The color is unachievable. You're using the wrong guide. And that's why we're here. At least PolyU students or alumni, you know how to use the right guide.
Yeah.
We keep trying to advertise it, but they just keep coming back. It's our fault, okay? It's our fault. We should have done our job better 50 years ago. It's just recurring. For class, we'll save this to the end, all right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. As I know, Pantone have so many devices, right?
Device, not divorce. Not divorce.
Yeah. Device. And then the designer, how to use this one to measure the color. Yeah.
Okay.
The tools.
Okay.
No, not just that. I say this one first. You have an update for your Pantone, right?
Yes. Yes. Man is asking, we had some device. Yes, I will come into that later. We had some device for digital design. Most of you are designing digital on the screen. So how can you use the guide and then look at the screen? It's impossible, or it's very tiring. So how can I use that? We'll come over that later.
Yeah.
And back to your questions. Someone did mention that they had this Plus series, and which belong to the museum. So it actually brings to one question: like, how often should we update our Pantone? There are two reasons for you to update your Pantone. Number one is mist color. So your Plus series is probably fall into 10 years ago, when you see on this little pictures, this, the one on the left side, that's the Plus series. The very first one, 2010, 2011. And since then, we have added 200 colors to 2013. We added 300 colors, and then we keep adding colors. So number one is like the original Plus series, you're probably missing 500 colors already. And this is only to 2016. More colors have been already added into the color system since then. We keep improving our color system, and then once we know that we can achieve more color, popular color that's currently using by the designers, we update them. So yes, first it's missing color. You're missing a lot of colors. So when you receive a color code from your clients, from your customers, you might not know what that color means. Second, the color that you are seeing is already not correct. Look at the pictures on the right. I've seen it many, many times. They keep claiming they're using Pantone and still saying color miscommunication because, dude, the color is already wrong. The paper become yellow, and then once the paper become yellow, the color will be different. And then the color is different, and also light fastness. Complain to God, alright? I don't make light, I don't create light. When color exposed to light, it slowly degrade. Can't help. I don't make light, so sorry. It's technological limitation. So back to the questions, like how often? I reckon roughly 12-18 months, you gotta update your Pantone guides. Most people in the industry update every 2-3 years. We recommend 12 to 18 months. You can decide in the between on your own.
Yeah.
Any questions on this? And about the Plus series, sir, see if your color is like on the second page, on the second textures. If that, just update your guide. You don't want to get fired because you quote the wrong color code. We go on.
Yeah.
Now, man, ask me a question while I drink my water.
Yeah, and I know that Pantone have so many new things. Some is called the Pantone apps. It's called the Pantone Connect.
Yes.
And I think that now is a digital world. So the Pantone also update their system in the digital world. And then now the market will introduce how to use these digital tools to measure the color. And also you can use these tools to find your Pantone color and then all the things. Now
Yes.
it's the time to introduce what is the Pantone Connect and some tools to measure the color in the monitor, and also maybe you can use the tools to measure the color on the different items, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
First thing first, what you have heard so far, if you have any questions, just type it out. If you don't, then you might realize that it's all physical. Print on paper, dye on fabric, paint on walls. It's all physical. And we are in a digital world. When you do your design, you don't use sketchbook anymore. Nobody used that. Back in my days, yes, we used sketchbook. I'm old. So, but now everybody uses Adobe. You design on computers. So how can I pick Pantone colors in the first place so that after I finish my design, I can do the color communication, accurate communication with Pantone to my manufacturers.
Yeah.
But first thing first, when I am viewing color with my monitor, am I seeing a correct color? And if I am using a design team, we are team members, right? We're the same team, we design the same project. Are we looking at the same color at all? Is the color on her screen, on her Adobe, the same color as on my screen, my Adobe? Remember when I said 𝐶𝐬𝐿𝐾 is not accurate? Someone already confirmed me over chat room. Yes, 𝐶𝐬𝐿𝐾 is not accurate. Even with the same 𝐶𝐬𝐿𝐾 readings, the color will be different. 𝐶𝐓𝐄𝐍𝐓 get 4 colors. And when we use the screen, we use RGB, red, green, and blue, only 3 colors. So the color accuracy is worse. How can we make sure that? Are you following me? That in a very simple terms, that the color on man's screen will be very different than color on my screen. So how can we even communicate when she's seeing a reddish brown, I'm seeing a brownish red? First, calibrate your monitor. We have something called the monitor calibrations to make sure that the color that we both see are closer. And I repeat, closer. It cannot be 100% correct.
Yeah.
Can't help. It can if you spend like $1 million US dollars. Still, it's available, but it costs $1 million so far. But if you can't, just do some simple calibrations. This device just a few $100. Make sure the color you two seeing are closer. So your manufacturer seeing, I'm seeing, my team members are seeing, our colors are closer. We are talking about similar colors. Second, when you design, when you use Adobe, I assume 90%, 80% are using Adobe, you can use Pantone colors already. But most of the Adobe, if you're using the non-pirate copies Adobe, if you understand what I'm saying, if you're using the official Adobe account, they don't have Pantone colors. So you can import it, Pantone colors, through an apps. So when you design your web, when you design with Adobe, you can already use Pantone color through Pantone Connect apps. So if you want to ask, I think yes, Pantone is moving towards digital, and we developed an app called Pantone Connect. And from this app, they had an extension, and then you can also, it's a cloud-based technology, and you can export the colors into Adobe. So when you design with Adobe software, you can already use Pantone color.
Yeah.
So far any questions? If yes, type it out. If no, I will go to the simple workflow of how this Pantone Connect works. It's on App Store, it's on subscription base. So far it's still normal. We might increase the price very, very soon. So if you want to subscribe, I do recommend you subscribe now. And you don't hear from me, that you're very surprised, okay? Okay, so with this Pantone Connect apps, what does it do? First, you can see your color on the apps, on your phone. So you had the Pantone color code, or you just basically pick a color. From Formula Guide, from the different color system, you can see it like on the left pictures, Formula Guide, Color Bridge, or Extended Gamut, Metallics, you can find the colors. Second, then you can just pick the color, and then you can see what's the hue, saturation, lightness, and you can see the RGB, 𝐶𝐓𝐄𝐍𝐓, 𝐏𝐃, LAB value of that Pantone color. So far, does it make sense? You can see the hue, or similar hue, similar saturation, similar lightness on the right pictures, and on the left pictures, you can pick the colors, and then you can see the reference RGB, 𝐶𝐓𝐄𝐍𝐓, hex, LAB value. Or if you don't, just look at the middle color. A whole pile of colors, and you just handpick the color I like. Okay? Second,
This one.
yes. You go to a shop, and then you want to see, I like this wallet color. I like the blue color that man is wearing right now. So
yeah, just put here.
yes, you put this color card on here, and then from the app, you take a pictures of this, of this little card, and then they can tell you already had a other color match. What's this Pantone color?
Yes.
But please be reminded, man's wearing is not Pantone color. So it's just a close match because it's fundamentally not the Pantone color. But at least you know, like, I don't need to go over the fan deck and then check like one by one by one. It's impossible. So at least you know, like, okay, this is the closest color, done. Okay?
Yes.
And then of course you got the RGB, CMYK, LB value. If you want to convert the Pantone color, you got RGB value, CMYK, LB value, LAB value. How do I convert the Pantone from the app? They can. Or cross-reference. As you know, someone said, I've been using the wrong color guide all this time. And I've been using print on papers, but I use a paint on papers. How do I convert it? I have so many colors, long run colors. Type the color code from the apps, you can cross-match to fashion, home, and interior color system. So you just, it's painful, but hey, just get it done over with. One shot, you know what's the closest graphics design panel colors to fashion, home, interior color system. Okay?
Yes.
And last but not least, this is actually my favorite. If you're a designer, I feel bored. I need inspiration. We had all the latest color trend information, some articles, some of the color information, or even if you pick a color, how do I match a color? They even have this color suggestion for you. You pick a red, you can consider this green here, this pink and yellow, purple, or green and blue. We even had a panel color code. It has some color trend information or color suggestions to create some color inspiration. Is it cool? Kind of cool, isn't it? And of course, I go hiking, I look at my sun, I like the sunset, I take pictures, boom, they digitally analyze what is the color palette of that pictures. So that pictures can become your mood board. And you already have the color palette of that mood board, digitally analyzed by Pantone apps. It's great. And of course, if you don't agree, you can minor change it. And each color code, you know, each of the Pantone color that they digitally design, you can also handpick it, and then you can further understand RGB, CMYK value. That's, you know, that's what I previously had already told. Cool. Any questions? You sort of get an idea, I assume.
Yeah, because it's a new app. Yeah.
If you don't know it, just play with it. It's fine. And yes, last but not least, it's just a conclusion. So with this app, you can color capture. You've seen some products in, I don't know, your competitors. You want to know what's your step palette. How do you do it? You have this color card, you have this app, you go to the changing room and you take pictures, and you already know their color palette with Pantone color codes. But of course, they might not be using Pantone color codes, so, but it's the closest you can get. It's a similar. Second, you have some color informations. Each Pantone color, you got RGB value, CMYK value, LB value, hex value to further your designs. Last but not least, Adobe extension.
Yeah.
You can use Pantone on your design with Adobe. Good? So yes, it's free to download, but remember, subscription fee required.
Per year. It's per year.
It's tricky, but remember, it's free to download. Download is free, everybody, of course. But
yeah,
if you want to use it, it's just take subscription fee. So yeah, it's per year. So make sure you know the price, and you will use it for a whole year long. You decide. Okay, it's an app. Just go to App Store. Fine.
Yeah, thank you, Martin. Yeah, it's a Q&A session. If you have a question, you can type in the chat room, and then we will answer your questions. Now we go back to see the questions. Yeah, let me see.
Okay, I actually want to go back a little bit, like that's the lighting conditions part. Someone mentioned something, the lighting environment.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Jasmine.
Yeah, Jasmine. Jasmine always asks good questions here. Like, I think it's easier to complete the task by giving the colors chip out, as the lighting in that environment vary the possibility of same color in terms of nature of materials. Yes, the color will appear different when based on a few factors. Number one is, of course, different materials. It's just different. You can't help. Second is the way the technology you make the color, and the ink, the print, the paper. The ink you use for printing, the dye stuff you use for dyeing, the paints you use for painting, it's all different. And last but not least, and I think it's actually the most important one that you point out, is lights. Different light you will see the light differently. And if you look at, if you deal with Australian brand, New Zealand brand, their sunlight, their environment is so great. They always just go to the window and see it. Oh, this color looks great, this color looks bad. But their sunlight is different from our sunlight because of air pollution. Even if the same sun, we just have one sun, right? Even the same sun, Apollo, is different in Hong Kong and in Australia. So that's why we need to agree on the light source. And that's why we need to have a light booth or the light box. And the light box in a perfect darkness environment so that we will not have light pollution. So when you want to communicate color, you have pointed out right. Make sure that you agree on the correct lighting environment. In fashion industry, we usually use D65 as a light source. In printing industry, most of the time we use D50. Okay?
Yeah, and this one for the glass.
It depends if it's transparent or not. If it's transparent, how transparent it is. So far, we do not have a good color system. We try to make it, but then somehow it just got worse. We try to make a lot of colors and to have a different gradients of transparency. And at the end, it just didn't work. The market just didn't accept. They always want something in between. We had a lot of like 3,000 colors, no 600 colors, and each colors with a 5 degree of transparency gradient, so make it 3,000. And we thought it's enough. We made it, and you might still able to find it in the market, but we discontinued it because we just had so much argument at the end. So at the end, just stick to the formula guide or the fashion. I would recommend the fashion TPG. Stick to the TPG, but in your mind, you will know that it will be transparent and it will be different. And then you need to agree by yourself with your customers and your manufacturer. There's certain agreements. So how I suggest is like just TPG from the guide. Color guide, fashion color guide, and then ask your glass manufacturer to have a several lab dip. And then agree on the lab dip and use that as your color communication. But then you need to stick to the same manufacturers. Because once you change it, they might not repeat it.
Yeah.
We have done it many times. It's very, very complicated.
Yeah,
you got complicated situations. Yes.
Where can I buy the Pantone cream?
And what?
Cream is mean that the creams have a Pantone. Yeah.
Rest in peace, Queen. I love you.
Where I can get it? In the Pantone website?
Not in Asia. And it is so welcome. I really admire this person, like 96 years of age, and everybody loves her so much. We actually had this especially for her to celebrate her birthday, and it's limited edition, and it's sold out.
And sold out. We are so sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, and then how to define the color of the year?
Good questions. Next questions. Go next questions first.
Is there any applications for the 3D printing? Yeah, if make the 3D printing or maybe and I think that is maybe the TPG because it's a coating. Yeah.
I think for 3D printing, it's actually the same as any rapid printing. The process, yes, TPG. It depends, like if you use ink or use paint. If for that 3D printing, yes, it's 3D printing, but they don't really. Sometimes or most of the time they don't use ink print. In that case, don't use from the guide. Use TPG. It's closer.
TPG. Yeah, and how to define the color of the year?
Yes, I put it later because it will actually very lengthy. We define Pantone color of the year based on psychology. Someone said like Pantone is a very scientific company. Correct. At the end, we actually had a separate division called Pantone Color Institute. That's how most people, I believe, they are the one who make Pantone, how market perceive Pantone as an artistic company. Because when you see the Pantone guide, somehow the color arrangement is not messy. you like the color arrangement. Why? Because of the PCI, Pantone Color Institute. They make sure that the Pantone, the colors is aligned correctly, means color attractively. You love it. You just love it. It's like, wow, it's very organized. How? I don't know. Because we believe in color psychology. They are the one who designed the Pantone color guide. It's not scientifically, but artistically. And we believe in color psychology. When you see a color, you feel something. When you see blue, you feel something. When you see yellow, you feel something. When you see red, you might feel danger. Means it's very eye-catching. It's like, gotta be careful sometimes. When you see red, you know, oh, it means danger. Why? Because back in the good old days, you actually increase your appetite, you improve your appetite. We've done research that, it's a deep question, give me like a few minutes. Pick red, for example. I'm talking about color psychology now. That's how Pantone pick the color of the year. When you see red, your eyes will dilate. Your heart will pump faster. It's biologically proven. Why is that? Because red is ancient human history, refer to blood. When you see blood everywhere, oh gee, I better run away. That's dangerous here. So your heart will pump faster, your blood circulate faster, so you can run faster, and your eye dilate so to observe is there any danger, nearby. Is there a lion? Is there a tiger that's going to hunt me anytime? And you want to protect your kids, so run, kids, run.
Yeah.
So makes you run faster. It actually helps save you. So color psychology actually had a history. It is scientific somehow. And same thing, fire also associate fire. And by fire, hey, cooked food, right? Back in the good old days, like 5,000 years ago, before civilizations exist. So when there's a fire, that hey, it's cooked food. So you increase your appetite. Somehow it explains why McDonald's use red as their color. And somehow it also explains why KFC use red, why Pizza Hut use red. Fun is that these three big brands, all franchise restaurants, they use red. Why? They might not know, but red improves your appetite. And there's a reason behind it. That's color psychology. Back to your questions. Now, for Pantone, we actually investigate color psychology. What's happening this year that might affect the people's consumption's behavior next year? We've done a lot of research. And then from that research, we deduce one color. What does people want most next year? And from that, what do they want most? That's the color of the year. That's how we decide. Like purple, for example. Purple this year is short-lived. We want COVID to be over soon. That's why we pick purple. Because purple, naturally, it doesn't exist long. Everything in nature, which is it's purple in color, is short-lived. So it just gone fast. And purple, scientifically, it's like at the shortest wavelength. So somehow, we just want the COVID to be over soon. We want now to be over soon. So color of the year now is purple.
Yeah. And any questions?
Are we overrunning? Yes. Sorry about that. I talk a lot. And I love color psychology, by the way.
Yeah. Any questions?
3, 2, 1.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Martins. Yeah, and you have a lot of the information to us and know about what is the Pantone. Yeah, and also thank you very much and to join this talk. Thank you so
Winnie.
much.
You're so nice, Winnie. Oh, thank you, Chelsea. Thank you, everyone. If you have any more questions, ask Man. Feel free to ask me. And if you want to make any Pantone purchase,
just come to MRC.
Yeah, just come to MRC. She'll ask for an education discount, one-off offer. So she'll organize it with you guys. Okay?
Okay.
Just ask her.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. See you.